Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Smallman and welcome to this week's edition of Two Guys, Three Questions. Joining me this week, the co-host of Stolly and Rammer, Bob Ramsey, and the guy that sends my paychecks and coincidentally the smartest guy in the building, Program Director Kent Sterling. Thanks so much for your time, guys. All right, let's get things started. Question 1. The injury bug has certainly bitten the Cardinals, which is something that they can't control. One thing that they can assess, however, is the bullpen, which has regressed over the past month. What do you guys think? Can these problems be fixed internally, or will General Manager John Mozeliak have to seek outside help? Rammer, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think Mo will do what he always does and remain very, very patient. Where most of us in the media and the fans, they want something done right now. He has shown in his history as a general manager that patience is a virtue for him. And whether it's the middle of June, late June, sometime in July, maybe as late as August, he'll wait for just the right spot to make a move. Will it be the move? Will the move be enough to make a difference? Will the timing be right? Well, we'll just have to wait and see and talk about it later in the year. But I don't think he'll make a knee-jerk move this early unless he's absolutely convinced that there's not enough in the bullpen right now. As far as on the uniform personnel side, I would just offer this. And I know how egos go in every profession, and when you finally get to run your own shop, that it makes a big deal. But if you've had the best ever at a job, and now you replace the best ever, I think do it exactly like the best ever did it. Just a word of advice.
Thanks, Rammer. Kent, what do you think?
Bullpens are always a work in progress. Look at last year. The Cards won the World Series. How'd they do it? Their bullpen was cobbled together at the end of July. They made deals for Octavio Dotel. They made a deal for Zipchinski. Same deal. Mott wasn't the closer when the season started, wound up being the closer at the end. Bullpens are a work in progress. Mozeliak knows how to build one. Matheny, we think, knows how to use one. We'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Kent. Okay, guys, question number 2. This time last year, most coaches and college football fans doubted that a playoff system would ever happen, but it now seems close to a reality. Several proposals of a 4-team playoff are being presented at conference meetings around the country. What do you guys think? Is this going to happen? Will college football ever adopt a 4-team playoff system? Kent, we'll start with you.
I think it should happen. I think the SEC has to back off. Nick Saban said some things in the media yesterday that I think were unfortunate. The SEC needs to understand that they're a conference. And for the Big Ten, the Big 12, and the ACC or the Pac-10, Pac-12 to be involved in this thing on an ongoing basis, guarantees are going to have to be made that they're going to be a part of it. Whether it happens within the bowl system, whether it happens in a +1 deal, each conference needs an invitation to that party. The SEC can't assume that just because right now it's the best conference in football, that it's going to get 2 invitations. Getting 1 to a 4-team playoff, I think that's enough.
Thanks, Kent. Rammer, what do you think? Will college football ever see the playoff system?
The playoff is inevitable, and we're really already seeing it now. The folks who still say they want a bowl system are still folks who are trying to protect their territory and or the money they get over and under the table. People can be insulted and aghast and agape at my comment, but it's true. I used to cover one of the bowls extensively many years ago. Over the table money, under the table money, it's all there. Call it what you will, but folks are trying to protect their piece of the pie, and they're not going to give it up unless they know they can get at least that much or more back. We'll eventually get there. The one thing that has come up as an issue recently that I think is relevant is that some folks are proposing conference champions only be eligible. And that will be a problem when you have some super conferences, whether it's the SEC now, the Big Ten later. Who knows? Maybe even the Pac-12, some other conference comes along and brings teams in. There'll be times when 2 or 3, maybe 4 teams from a particular conference are rated in the top 5. They should be given a shot in a playoff. Any playoff system is going to have to include at-large bids for it to work fairly.
All right, thanks, Rammer. Guys, last question. Remember how the NFL was going to do away with the Pro Bowl? Yeah, about that. They recently announced that after the players promised to make the game more competitive, they will hold the game in Hawaii a week before the Super Bowl. What do you guys think? Is this a lost cause? Are the players not really going to play? Or do they need incentives to make it fun? Rammer, let's start with you.
The Pro Bowl is a lost cause, and players may need incentives to play harder, but if you give them more incentives, you're insane. They're not playing. See, football is the ultimate team sport. Well, you haven't put an ultimate team together. You put together an all-star team, a fantasy lineup. They're not playing for anything. Even if you give them more cash to win or whatever, it's a bad idea. And a lot of folks have joked over the years, it's turning into flag football. Aha! That's what it should be. Flag football. Go to Hawaii, have some fun, throw a bunch of touchdowns. Nobody's watching anyway. Go have some fun with the game.
All right, thanks, Rammer. Count, what do you think? Will players give it their all this year in the Pro Bowl?
The Pro Bowl's time has passed. Nobody cares. I think there's got to be a market for a game for that game to exist. And no market exists for the Pro Bowl. Nobody wants to watch it. Nobody really wants to play in it. People do want their contracts to be, the bonuses that are built into their contracts to be paid out. They love the free trip to Hawaii, but nobody's going to risk their career for whatever paltry amount of money is offered as being a part of that Pro Bowl team. I think the Pro Bowl's a done deal. They should just wipe it from the slate and move on. There's no saving it.
Thanks, Ken, and thanks again, Rammer. Appreciate you guys' time. That's all for this week's edition of Two Guys, Three Questions. You can check us out right here again next week at 101sports.com.